Nike is working with U.S. border enforcement to crack down on counterfeit sneakers. In an article written by Aaliyah Mayo for Business Insider, U.S. Customs and Border Protection recently announced that they will be accepting proprietary technology from Nike to stop counterfeit shoes from entering the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol said that they seized 26,503 shipments containing counterfeit goods in fiscal year 2020. Had they been genuine, it would have been worth nearly $1.3 billion. Customs and Border Patrol says that the counterfeit goods pose a great risk to the U.S. economy. It was reported in 2020 that an international counterfeiting ring was using an elaborate web of fictitious company names, bogus paperwork, phony email addresses, and burner phones to ship $472 million worth of counterfeit goods in the U.S. So I guess we know what Dunks is doing right now. Authorities were able to track down the...
You ain't shit.
Not one bit.
Authorities were able to track down the sellers by using cooperating witnesses and undercover agents. Counterfeit shoes are also a big problem for resellers. Some sneaker resellers are using AI technology to authenticate sneakers. The process is as easy as placing the shoe into a machine, and within minutes, software is able to identify if a shoe is real or not with a series of photographs. Anyway, it is unclear how Customs and Border Patrol will identify fake shoes going forward, other than acknowledging that Nike is donating a proprietary technology which will enable them to identify them. So,
but my thing is, they're gonna get the cutting up box. I seen somebody on Instagram. They had ordered some shoes. I guess they came from overseas, and when they cut the box open to look inside of it, it was a J Balvin Jordan 1 mid, and they cut it. And he got a big slash, so he ended up getting his shoe, but it slashes. So, like, if you're gonna send that technology, fine, but also tell people how to cut open boxes when you're examining product.
You would think you wouldn't have to tell people like that.
But we just customs. They just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so here's my question though. So if I'm Nike, there's two ways we can go with this. One, my technology only identifies counterfeit Nike shoes because you know what? Fuck Adidas, like that. Them fakes come through.
Yeah.
Right. Or two, you can work out an exclusive arrangement between you and Customs to where they work exclusively with you, but that requires you to be able to identify all fakes.
But then again, how can you really contract the government to do your work for you? That's like basically hiring. That's like basically hiring the DA to make sure.
No, the government is hiring Nike to do this stuff. Huh? The government is hiring, or at least buying Nike's technology. So it's not Nike hiring the government, it's the government.
So you basically saying Nike creating the technology and then the government
wants to use it to spot out counterfeit.
I mean,
shoes.
I guess
but
the problem,
I think that would have been pushed on by Nike because government has
Nike's gonna be. I mean, yeah, they trying.
Now, but I'm saying that issue was brought up to Nike. Government did say, "Hey, man, when those begin,
they trying to turn into Stark Industries. Want us to make this missile."
But the other part too with that would be then to be able to identify fakes from all companies. Wouldn't all the other companies have to then sign off contracts basically?
Yeah, because if a competitor is going to acknowledge whether a shoe from my brand is fake or not, if Nike lets a whole bunch of Adidas fakes through, that hurts the competition.
Right.
That's my point.
I know that's why you're saying that's why the government would want to.
But it would have to work, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, it would have to work. Like, they're not going to just take Nike's word for it.
But how can Nike tell Adidas how their shoe are authentic?
No, you've been to what's the name before. You know exactly what they do.
Huh?
You've been to their headquarters before. Don't act like you ain't been there.
No. I'm talking about.
You've been to the other rooms, though.
But here's my thing.
He's been to the other rooms.
So if a 22, here's my thing.
I just went to the upper room. Like, he went to the upper room.
Hold on. What you doing up there? Hold on, man.
The VIP section.
So you finally been to it. There it is.
Hey, now we know where you going your lunch breaks.
Nah, but real talk.
That's how I got them purple
talk.
people eater coming.
I don't know if I can say this or not, but all the brands are aware of the other brand's shoes. You think when they make the Air Max, they're not checking out the competition?
But here's my thing though, like if Adidas switches factories from here to here and okay, we went from gluing it to stitching it, Nike has a 2020 release, they're gonna think, okay, if it ain't glued, then it's fake. When Adidas say, hey, we actually switch factories, we actually switch moldings, like that's for that brand to do.
So here's how it's gonna work. It's proprietary, so they're gonna use the technology. Nike's not gonna talk to the other brands. The Customs is gonna talk to the other brands. They're gonna say, hey, Adidas, you know what? Let's get samples of your shoes so that we have something to compare with. or to
You basically
collaborate,
asking the
calibrate.
U.S. Customs to turn to authentication.
That's what that sounds
They've been
like.
doing that. I mean, first of all, they've been doing that anyway. Like, this is news to us because they're using Nike technology. But they've been trying to spot fakes for a while now. Like, you don't think they know how to spot certain things?
So it's like, hold on, y'all can let that. You can let them bricks through. I'm trying to see if these
But they
J
can't stop
Balvin's real or
everything.
not.
They can't
Come on,
They
man.
can't
Come
stop
on, bro.
everything.
Like, come on, y'all
They
gonna
can't
let
stop
that through?
everything. They can't stop everything.
They gonna let
But
bricks,
that time you spending on
bricks
shoes
of a
can be
different
going with
kind.
that.
Say what now?
That time you spending on shoes can be focused on the brick.
Focus on the who?
The bricks.
Oh, the bricks.
bricks of a different kind.
No, because they got different departments though. So customs isn't just 2 or 3 guys. This
Now, I'm
ain't-
gonna tell
this
you
ain't
like,
eBay.
I'm gonna tell you like factory sale. That manpower you using for this, like a district manager say, that manpower
No,
you using
it
for
ain't-
this can be used for that.
It ain't like eBay authenticating where they got 2 guys authenticating all the goods coming through the U.S. They got different departments. You got people that's working on fashion. You got people
That's the brand.
working on drugs.
That's you basically. You, even though the government reached out to Nike, but who has a bigger interest?
No,
in that?
actually, it wasn't even just Nike though. The footwear industry in general has been wanting to crack down on the fakes. Fashion in general, really, has been wanting to crack down on fakes.
But why reach out to the actual brand? Why not reach out to people
No,
that
this wasn't. I mean, first of all, from what I got out of it, it sounded like Nike reached out to them because it's in their own interest.
That's
to
what
get
I'm
rid
saying.
of
That's
fakes.
basically
Yeah.
knocking on the police. Say, hey, can you make sure that's basically what Nike doing. Like, hey, can you make sure there ain't no face get through?
I'm
Like,
just saying.
like what Tony Stark say, if you can create the problem, you can sell the solution. And that's exactly what they do. You make shoes limited, people can't get them. You make a lane for unauthentic shoes, and now you getting technology. Come on, man.
I can amen to that, man. 'Cause he
Come
just
on.
broke that one down.
Come on, bro.
He just broke that one down.
Come on, man.
I can't say he's wrong or right. It's like that Neymar situation. I can't say you're
No,
right.
you can say
I
I'm
can't say
right.
you're
You
wrong.
ain't gonna Neymar me. You can say I'm right because I'm actively participating on my Saturday mornings to show up here. So you can't say I don't participate 6 years in. You refuse to
I would say
Neymar me.
I would say you have a point. You have a point. You don't get that. Look, Nike ain't gonna serve you no favors.
That's why I'm just, my whole thing would be, you know, if you the government, why not go to people that don't work for the brands anymore, like they do for everything else? When they want to do special investigations, sometimes they go to, you know, people that aren't involved in actually working
But
for
I'm
the
saying the
government
brands
anymore.
work with the government more than we think. This is not new.
But to create technology like this,
Once again, this is not new.
so I'm just saying, this is what the government gonna put its focus on. We
now-
got people out here that starving can't eat, but this what we worried about.
Imagine them
No,
spending.
they ain't worried about us being broke. They
No,
worried
no,
about these rich
yes,
folks
yeah,
making
look,
more money.
Look, peep this. We already
That's how this
spend.
works.
We already spend the most amount of money in any country in the world on our defense. So imagine if they take part of the defense budget to authenticate shoes. That's where your tax money going. So you're gonna pay for authentication with StockX. You're gonna pay for authentication with GOAT, and then when you get your check, you pay for authentication for shoes that you're not even gonna buy.
And you're not even getting a refund
Not
for
even
that on
gonna
your
get,
taxes.
like,
You know what I'm worried about? You know what I'm really worried about? I'm worried about the YouTubers that be reviewing these UAs. Like,
They about to get arrested.
Yeah, what y'all gonna
they ain't
review?
gonna get arrested because it's gonna turn to the prohibition. The fake's gonna be starting selling more than the shoes, the real
Well,
shoes.
they do now.
I'm saying, what they gonna do? Like, if they not making it in, like, shit, where they gonna get them from? You gonna have to
Still
cross
get
the border
some.
with it?
Come on, man.
Well, technically,
You
they
can still buy drugs right now, right? And it's customs and DAs all through, right?
You asking me? I don't smoke drugs. I don't know nothing about that.
No, but I think to Caesar's point would be technically they can't go on YouTube. They can't say that that's what they got and that's where they got it from. Because, you know, you got a lot of these YouTubers now that actually tell, like,
Man, if a gun
Well,
could
no,
come-
they don't
if a-
tell you. That's the problem.
No, but I'm saying remember the people that you was doing the reviews of?
Yeah.
They telling you that they got it from this particular site that
Oh,
we
yeah.
know is probably a site that's getting cracked down on.
Superkicks.ru.
Come
No,
on,
but,
now.
like,
yeah,
what?
man, but you can't say they ain't gonna get no more sneakers because you can still drugs are
Well,
still coming through.
it's gonna be harder, I
Guns
guess. And is it
gonna
worth
come
the
through.
effort?
can't- but you can't
Imagine
create a
this.
video
It's
about it
harder
anymore.
to get a fake Jordan 1 than it is to get a brick. What does that tell you about this country?
I wouldn't know that.
I don't know. There's a lot of
Come on,
information.
man. Come
There's
on.
a lot of inside information
That's
about
not-
this.
I was
so
gonna
that's
say,
like-
you might be dunksing yourself
No, I'm
right
not
now,
dunking
man.
myself because that's like playing. That's night and day. We know
I
it.
was
'cause-
wondering how he's buying all these shoes all of a
Man,
sudden.
crime and nose and that D. They just seized over there and all that. You sound crazy. You sound crazy. You live down the street from the border. So exactly. You probably get him in, Mr. 17.5.
And that's how I know.
And that's
I know
also
it.
your shoe size.
Nah, I know.
That's where they smoking at. They smoking in this.
Fuck out of here.
You can put a couple bricks in them boxes.
Wrapped in Mitchell and Ness jerseys. The dogs ain't gonna smell them.
Hey, but I'm not the one talking about them. I don't know nothing about that.
Come on, bro.
We think that's Converse sending the package to his door.
On, man. You seen,
I don't know about that.
You seen Blow. You seen all them documentaries. You act like that happening, bro.
Sure, look like we need to see your house, but nah.
He need a bigger room.
Right.
You sound crazy. Nah, you live far away. You live right by a port. You get them shit right off the boat.
Where I live by?
Port Huron.
Exactly. Foot up.
That's a whole hour away. A whole hour away.
Fresh off the boat seas. Fresh off the boat seas. Got the white tee. Got the Blanco on the day.
Wow.
Oh man.
Wow. I'm not even sure that's an actual report, but anyway, go ahead. We gotta let Easy get the hell out of here. He got something to do. He got Taekwondo classes to teach.